You was wondering what's going on here. But yes, I just did not want you to miss the next broadcast. I wanted to make sure we keep it on schedule. So rain or no rain, here am I. Hello, rain. So the umbrella. I hope you like my umbrella. It's all blending with my outfit, you know, the green. You know it is. So we are here again this great day. As I said, where I am, of course, you know it's raining. But you, I hope you're dry. And we're talking about parents today. And we're talking about that issue of parents and their voices. So last time we talked about children voices, now we talked about parent voices. That's a futuristic view. They always seem to think about the future, and when they talk, it's, you know, they're thinking about you tomorrow. But sometimes we have to look at that and see how it works for us, how it really is going. Now, one is about parents in their transition from singleness, or from childlessness, I should say, to having a child. And for some of you, may be married. It's the whole issue of coming out of a family of origin where there have been much traditional and cultural concepts and ideologies. It's important for us to really appreciate what's happening there, and how we are going to see how that affects us as we work. So, you know, even the umbrella, you might say, gosh, Dr. Niles, you know, this is not traditional. You're on broadcast, but it's raining, and I want you to not miss me. So I take the chance, and another chance. I thought it's real. It's real. Traditional concepts and cultural biases. Now, you could not have evade any of that, because that's what growing up means. And I stressed that G word in my last podcast. That G word, you also have grown up. Remember, before you were that parent, you were that zero child. 1 year old, 2 year old, all the way up to 20 something, or whenever you got married, or whenever you had your first child. So that it is important to know that you didn't just being born and have a child. You went through what we call socialization, understanding the traditions and cultures of your parents and relatives, and including your grandparents. So we need to look at what those meant to you. What does tradition mean to you? How does culture interpret your life? So that when you speak now, when you say, hey, there is no more this, no more water, no more cornflakes, get off your bed, get up here, go there. It all has to do with that whole issue of how you grow up. Let's take a simple thing like getting up. Some people were taught, don't let the sun rise on you. Get up before. But these days, you know them young people, you know these children, they're sleeping long. Of course, 10 o'clock. What? Get off the bed, mommy, get off the bed. So you are there working out your culture. You know, how you get up in the morning, brush your teeth, go to the... Some of them get up and they're ready to eat. So those things irk you. You know, wear a shoe, put it up, the toothpaste. So we have a lot of cultures, and we have some traditions that we know that have brought us to where we are. But now we want to share them back there. Notice I said back there. Back to these guys who are not your age. Hold on a minute. I think the rain stopped here. Hold on. But I'll hold it just in case it reoccurs. So you understand that it is not just about how we are working out. We are doing this thing real today. How I work out the fridge, the use of the lights, who closed the door, who slammed the door, what time to get up, when to go to sleep, when to do your studies. All these have been traditionally passed through with your parents to date, and now you're working with your children. What is the voice that your children are hearing? They're not hearing sometimes a voice that identifies them in this era. Excuse me. And they don't identify with that, you know. No. Your voice is certainly another kind of strangeness. What? I don't know about that. We don't do it so. Especially today in 2022, when this thing in my hand becomes the vital instrument and lifestyle for all and sundry. The child from 2 years knows what a tablet is. And here my grandson said he can't find a tablet. So I asked my daughter, what medication is he on? Granddad, medication? No, the tablet is a whole different thing. So how would I get him to use the tablet? Where not to use it? How to not use it? Where, the confusion is there. Excuse me, and I know why I'm coughing. I was told not to eat almonds before I speak, but I had some almonds. So I'm going to work that out. So it's important for us to see that those cultures and those traditions, I'm using both together now, are working themselves through you to your children. How do we amend that? How do we purposely find a voice that bridges the gap? Because we don't want to lose you as a parent. I do not want you to say, I am desisting from what my fathers and forefathers taught me. No, you can't, because that's you. You have developed this personality. Your strengths, your ideologies, your concepts, your philosophies have all come through here. But now you are faced with a difference. And your difference is future. Was your parents aware, or rather were your parents aware of a future past them and for you to say past me? So when my parents brought me up and I started having my children, did I think of what they taught me as a future? No. I worked with my children initially in the present. I work with them as if I was still in my father's house, doing the things my father said to do, doing the things my mother didn't want me to do, rather than recalibrate and say, hey, I have to do these things in context of where my children are going. So when I first got a computer, way back in the 90s, and my son suddenly got so interested in this thing, and wow, he not knowing that when we were supposed to be sleeping, he would be up still sneaking out there and doing it, and he had his friends and everybody else. So when one day I'm sitting on the computer and I'm really saying, wow, this is not, I was not prepared for this, and I do not want to be prepared for this. He comes and says, Daddy, what's going on here? And he does this thing very easily, and you know what's happening there? It's finished. He was apt. He was apt. That's the right word. He knew how to handle this. That was his present. That was not mine. I had to learn to come into the, and it took me a long while. As a matter of fact, it took me almost 20-something years to get it. You recognize that I'm now getting a little more savvy and appreciative of that word computer, that word laptop, and now tablet. But those are the futuristic contexts. How do we work? We are accustomed walking to school. Or we are accustomed maybe going to school. Some of us had no shoes, had no lunch. We had no slate, we had no cup book, maybe we had a book bag. There's a lot of things we came through. Now, they have to have a shoe. They're not walking. They want to be dropped. Even though it's 2 blocks, they want to be dropped. They want to, they want to come into that school compound in the back seats, maybe in the front, with their parents next to them, driving this car. Some of us was on the bicycle with daddy, or grandpa going to school. I hope you're recognizing the differences that you are now experiencing, that you didn't even identify in your brain as that these are realities of what we call dissonance, disobedience, dysfunction. Because we have not learned how to match our future with their future and how to work out our future through them to get to their future. It has to be changed. So that I have to learn that the voice that I would have had out of those traditions and out of those cultures have to be now downsized, if I may use that word, will have to come to the place where I am looking at it differently in terms of who I am. We have to also look at the issue of education. How was I educated? And why? It's a whole different state today. The job markets that my father prepared me for and my education system prepared me for are not really recognizable again. It's a whole new job market. People are seeing things different. And after COVID-19, the home base has become a reality that is being exploited with great energies and, aggressively to make sure now that there are jobs that are retained at home using those devices. So when I prepare my son or my daughter now to go to do SCA and to get into secondary school and to do CXE and to do A-levels and go to university, that may be redundant. That may be absolutely not necessary. Because that child do not need all that child. Do not need those qualifications. That child knows how to get a job and sustain themselves for their future. How are we reconciling that? Are we going to keep shouting and saying this is what you have to do? Don't make me ashamed. You have to do that. You have to become, and we have all those nice words up there. The doctor, the engineer, the agriculturist, you understand, the lawyer. No, those things, even today, lawyers don't want to be lawyers anymore. Doctors, real life vested, they don't want to be doctors anymore. No. They don't have the money. And further, it is more than just the money. I'm realizing that we're dealing with a futuristic component of technological advancement that these guys are ready for. I was telling somebody recently that physics is going to be an essential subject soon. You know how you see after maths and English? Just now it's going to be physics because everything physics. The motion cameras, the internet, the apparatus, everything, the jobs, which is more public image, and this thing you talk about gaming, all these things are based in a very strong technological context and structure. So, who wants to be a doctor? Who wants to be a lawyer? Who wants to go to university in the first place? And if they do go, they go because you told them to do that. They go because you want them. Because it's a legacy, you see. The great-grandfather, the father, now and now my child. We have to continue this. Some businesses are going to collapse. Because I'm thinking that my son is going to come and take over my hardware business, or my doctor business, or my dentist business. No. We have to think differently. We have to begin to think of how those changes are going to affect our present voice in the house. How do we discipline? How do we? How do we direct? How do we encourage? How do we parent? And coming out of our own educational perspective, coming out of our own progressive family dynamics, because we want to develop the family, what it is about our professionalism as a parent. Are we professional parents? No. It's a sideline thing. We're professional, everything else. But we are not seeing ourselves to be professional as parents, to get into their minds with our voice, with what we have to say, to make sure that they are ready for their future. What about that? That's important. And as we go through this, it's necessary for me just to pause here for a while and to reflect a bit of the things that we may not want to let go. How do I not say that I am or I believe in this? How do I get to believe in something different? And I go back to social media, where my son, again, wanted to implement social media practices within let's say our church organization. And I was like, wow, no, we have to hold on, not yet. And he says, okay, Daddy. He behaved as a very good parent. He listened to my voice and he says, okay, but today, 2022, look where I've been broadcast on YouTube, social media. A grandchild took my phone, and next thing I know, I have an Instagram account. I have a Twitter account. So I had to come abreast with their future, because my future was competing in a negative space, and I didn't seem to have anything that I was becoming obsolete. Do you recognize that? So we have to have a different kind of voice when we are saying that we are parenting to the future of our children. Because the children we have in our homes at 0 and 5 and 12 and 16, they're not staying that age. They're going on. And by the time they reach to 30 or to 20, that's a whole different space. You are still parent. I want you to make sure that your voice is not going to be a catch-up voice, but that we pay attention to reading and research, and maybe I can say the Dr. Google thing, but get together and begin to see how you can educate yourself about tomorrow's future. That means your child. You know, one of the things that is important here, that we are not to grab ourselves with, is that whole social identity. Because somehow we feel that when we are not in a particular realm or particular space with our friends, we can't socialize. So if all these are people who are in university and have come out with their doctorates and come out with their bachelors and come out with the professionalism, and my child say he is a professional gamer or professional influencer, what going on here? Can he fit into any social fabric? Can he or can she be a part of any social identity? No. Yes, we have to start reforming our minds and stop being prejudiced or biased about the present day job market, which has to do with your child's future. We have to see that there is still a possibility of that equality, and that's why we have this DEI issue now, diversity, equity, and inclusion, because it's all about seeing people where they are, because the jobs that made us socially affluent and socially identifiable are no longer doing that. It is of a whole different perspective, and we therefore have to watch as we age, you know, as we go down. You move it yourself. You have your first child in your teens or early 20s. By now, by the time you reach your 50, that child is already 20, 30, 25, 30 years. That child has a different perspective. How are you managing that? When I talk to my children who are all 40s or almost 40 and beyond, how do I manage myself still looking back at where I've come from way back in the 50s and 60s and on? Do I do the things the same way? Do I think the same way? I can't, because I have to look at how we have progressed. Therefore, my voice has to become relevant. So I want you to know that there is still going to be that social identity that you're looking for. There is still going to be the context of roles and the context of responsibility that you cannot change, but how you do it is going to be different. We want you to be functional as a parent. We want your child to be functional as a child. We want the family to be functional, stable, balanced, and productive. I can talk more about this today, but I don't want to lengthen you here. It's already time for me to let you go back to your typing or your, your job, your computer. But it's important for us to capture that the life cycle that we present in terms of a psychological and sociological frame. We have to revisit that life cycle in context of a technological change. Because right now, if we don't do that, we will not have a voice for our children. The children would not be understanding what we say. And I am glad that I have grandchildren who are of the age where they can teach me. Up to recently, this week I said to one of them, teach me. What are you talking about? I need to learn about where you are at so that I can understand where you're going. Because where I would love you to go, you don't want to go. I would only want you to go where I know I have been taught to go. But it's a whole different day, a whole different season. Are we prepared for that? Are we prepared to change our voice? Are we prepared to gamble our heritage and the legacy? What would my great-grandfather say? What would my grandfather say? Am I going to change the face of the Niles? That we used to, we were this, but now this generation is quite different from? Are we going to change the face And you could call your own name and wonder what your grandchildren is going to be like. Well, that's a whole different story. The questions that my grandchildren pose to me, I never thought of them even at 5. I didn't even think of it even at 10. So the advancement within a social context, and we have to look at the media also. We have to look at the social devices, as what you call social network. We have to look at that and understand how it impacts and feeds our present generation for their tomorrow, not ours, their tomorrow. We are already in a tomorrow. We are already there. We are already we've been there, done that. We have worked, we have studied, we have worked, we have had children, we have our assets. They're now coming up to get their education and their professionalism and their assets. So let's help them. Let's train our voice for their future so that we can really embrace that connectivity within the family, and there's not that kind of hassle, and we don't have to use the words like disobedient and rebellious and antagonistic. No, because we are working together to really find the family unit for their future. So let's see how best this can be impacted into us. Let's see how best we can bring the tolerance and the production, the discipline within our own fabric, right there in the home to start with, and then we can take it outside to the school, the playground, the sports arena, etc., the marketplace, and see how best we can really develop a better country. For us, Trinidad and Tobago, for you, wherever you live, it all depends. Starting with the parent, training up the child in the way he should go. And when he gets old, all means future. All means more than the number of today. It will be different. Therefore, we are training them up, not with our present past, but we are training them up with our present future. So, Dr. Kenneth Niles, thanking you for sharing this time with me. And again, look out for me again next week. I'm sure the sun will be shining. And so God bless you and have a good day.